Okay, be ready. We are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Socratic Dialogue. So, the topic for today's Socratic Dialogue is building the MVP. Before taking the pitch, I would like to I would request everyone to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, this is Aditya Srivastav. I work as a video editor in DT, and today I am the coach for Team Launch Loop.
Okay, hi, good evening, guys. I'm Harshita and I'm from Team Launch Loop.
Hi, my name is Sarita. I'm a part of Team Launch Loop.
Hello everyone, my name is Afreen and I am a part of Team Loopspire.
Hi guys, I'm Nandita and I'm part of the team Loopspire.
Hello everyone, I am Richa Sharma and I'm part of the team Loop.
Hello everyone, I am Megha Karmakar. I am the coach today for Team Loopspire and I work as web developer at Deep Thought.
Hi, everyone. This is Priyanshu Saxena. I work as a web developer in Deep Thought. I'll be the moderator for today's SD.
Hello everyone, I'm Shivam Sonakar. I'm a data champion at Deep Thought, and today I will be co-moderating this Socratic Dialogue session. So before we begin, which team would like to go first?
Our team would like.
Okay, great, Aditya. But before you continue, can you tell the audience why your team is named Launch Loop?
Yeah, I would like to answer that. So we name our team Launch Loop because we believe that launching is the first step or it's just a beginning. To succeed, we need to keep improving it in a launch loop. It's like learning, launching, and grow again.
Okay, great. Now you can begin with your presentation, but before you begin, can we have a 1-minute summary of your entire presentation?
Sure. So basically, the presentation will explain how LinkedIn started with a simple idea, just profile and connection to fix the jobs and networking problems. This is called an MVP, which means the starting with only the most important part, then making it better from the user's point of view.
Okay, now you can begin with your presentation, keeping in mind the time limit of 3 minutes. You can start now.
Okay, so as I discussed, the presentation is about LinkedIn. I would like to tell that we are solving the common problems like not finding the right jobs, no strong online platforms, networks, and then slow hiring. So LinkedIn fix these by making it easy for people to connect, show their skills, and get job opportunity all in one place. Over to you, Daita.
So, how did LinkedIn came up with their MVP? They launched their platform focusing on a single issue, which is connection building within the professionals. And gradually they went on to add other features based on the user requirements. Next slide. LinkedIn increased their efficiency by iterating on user feedback. Later on, they added other required features such as job postings, content sharing, and many other features. Next slide. Coming to their execution, LinkedIn built their platform based on the primary issues the professionals were facing. That is, building trusted career connections. After the launch, LinkedIn rapidly acted on user feedback, adding new features and refining their platform to meet the evolving needs. Over to Ananya.
So before building anything, we must ask what is the value behind solving the problem. Now, when LinkedIn solved a real user problem that was building a gap between professional and the people, the clients, they are not just creating a product, but they are offering a solution. Now the value is measured by the real difference it makes, which is save time, reducing efforts, and opening new opportunities. So if users clearly feel that benefit, they stay and they trust on the and they tell others. Next slide, please. Now, once the MVP is validated and they found the product market fit, now they focus on scaling their next focus. Now, LinkedIn planned to scale in 3 ways. First one was technological scaling. LinkedIn enhanced backend infrastructure to support more users, improve performance. And next was feature expansion. Now, based on feedback, they gradually add high impact features, not what users truly need, but to boost engagement. And next was market expansion. Now, they started focusing on a particular niche that expand to border markets or to new geographies through strategic partnerships. Next slide, please. Now, if LinkedIn solved the wrong problem, then no matter how polished their MVP is, it won't work. So that's why identifying the pain point of the user is important. And LinkedIn begin by deeply understanding their target user, what frustrates them and what slows them down. So once they identify the real pain point, their MVP becomes instantly more valuable. Now, because it's not just a product anymore, it's a solution. Now, solving the right problem means users see immediate value and engage more.
Sorry to
And
interrupt, Ananya, but can you proceed a bit faster?
yeah,
It's taking a lot of time
yeah,
here on this slide.
yeah. Solving the right problem creates a real value and scales impact efficiently.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Now the other team can ask their questions to Team Launch Loop.
Yeah. So I would like to ask a question like how is LinkedIn ensuring that it doesn't create bias between the customers or the users while dealing with feedbacks?
I would like to answer it. So the bias is something that no platform wants in itself because the feedbacks should be for the improvement. So I think when LinkedIn takes feedbacks from its users, it takes the necessary details what the user experience is about, and it takes critics as well. So both of the feedbacks are combined together to increase the quality of the platform. And I don't think that this needs any bias for LinkedIn.
And how do you like the
So
question?
from the last
Anyone else like to ask
Okay.
any questions?
the feedback and fit.
Yeah, so what kind of factors LinkedIn look for while doing the market expansion?
Since LinkedIn is a professional platform, they mostly look for business preferences and individual choices according to their career choices. And they mostly prefer the profiles which are related to new trends according to professional work.
So to adding that, I would say that it target new user group, that is students, HRs, also by launching a freemium models to attract a wider audience. So yeah, just to enhance the user experience and engagement.
Does this answer your question, Nandita?
Yes.
Okay, any other follow-up question to Team Launch Loop?
Yes, I have.
Sure, Richa, you can ask.
Okay, I just want to know about that. Okay, how do you identify the what pain point that you can consider for the feedback and which should we not consider for the feedback? How you categorize the feedback basically?
Okay, so we can categorize the feedback based on some things such as what is the most common type of pain point that some business is experiencing. So if that pain point is common for most businesses, then it might be a big pain point, and then similarly we can also organize other pain points as well. That if they are not frequently occurring, they might be less important.
Does that answer your question, Richa?
That does not mean okay, if one has some issues. No, I just want to follow up the one question. Okay, if someone has a new something issue raised, and after some time maybe that issue became bigger. if you just ignore in a first step, then how will you improve your MVP product?
I think the first step would be to observe the user's behavior, like what feature they're struggling with or to avoid. Then it would be like collecting the direct feedback, like via survey, interviews, or any supporting queries. And then I think looking for a repetitive complaints to for requests that were the pain lies. And I think the most important thing would be identifying the core issues by giving them a proper right away solutions rather than giving them extraordinary things.
So on the basis, you're just giving the priorities over the basic issues, and after that, you're giving the priorities to other new or something.
No, to answer the question, Richa, actually, it's not like that, because also paying attention to negative feedback points out pain point that users are experiencing. So we do address the negative feedbacks as well as positive feedbacks, and we do work on both.
Does this answer your question, Richa?
Okay. Okay, you just told about, yeah, a little bit satisfied.
Any other follow-up
But
questions?
yes, no, not a follow-up question, but other question I have.
Okay.
Okay, that would be like from the back-end infrastructure. So how you just go for the all those basic things?
Can you be more clear, Richa?
But how you improve about that? Basically, you just use technology and back-end infrastructure and all those. How you just according to the demand, you just have to improve your technology. So what will be your approach for that?
I think, Richa, you could be more clear about your question. What exactly you want to ask?
Okay, I'm just asking about, okay, on the basis of the technology, we have an revolution, innovation over the times, and just on that basis, how you should go for that, LinkedIn, okay, that your website, your platform is not go for the old model approach, it go for the innovation with time.
So talking about technology, there are many things in the backend development, but like
No, you are taking for the feedback on that basis you are going to do, or you just go for the current status. Okay, what this is going to happen in the scenario, we go and apply this technology. How you, what is your approach for that?
So
What
the
will be your
question
approach?
is, how will you develop over time? Do you take the current feedback, or is it something you go from your backend only?
Yeah,
So how do you develop over
something
time?
like that.
What is your approach to developing over time?
I think we'll go for the feedback loops, because those would be from the users who are presently using our platform and have more clear image how they want to see the app. So taking feedbacks would be the better option, I guess.
Okay, on the feedback, there would be lots of option would be given. So how you go for that, which one is suitable and which one is not going to stay?
so to
Yeah,
yeah. So to add on this, I'll say that data-driven decisions could also be taken, like using data and analytics to track progress and understand the weaknesses. Will also work.
Okay, on that databases, you just go for the new technology. Okay, this is a demand of the technology, we can shift for this. So you just go for the new technology on the daily basis, on the over the period of time. Users feedback is like random na something.
So users feedback is probably random, but we as an organization can sort out the feedbacks which are most relevant to our organization and then apply them to our organization system. And if we do not feel like this is growing, we do not implement it initially on a larger level. This is like what the MVP approach tells us, that we have to do things at a small level first, and whichever settles,
But
then we can use it.
But Linden is already working for the larger scale. So how you will go for the Linden approach?
It is
This
working
is for
for
the
a larger scale, definitely, but the experiments can be started on a small scale according to the feedbacks, and then they can be large, done on a large scale if they are successful.
So how will you categorize the geography? मतलब किस area मतलब sorry in which area you should go for the testing and which
So
area you should
now,
avoid for the
as
testing?
we can see, it is the age of AI around us. So LinkedIn is experimenting with AI implementation and also social media platforms. So such things are already going on in LinkedIn.
Does this answer your question, Richa?
No, I'm asking. No. I'm asking about the geographical location. How you identify the location? This location I am going for the test, and after that I go for the large scale implementation.
We
You
do
just
not have to
given me
identify a
slide.
specific location. We can release a beta test model for for our experiments, and if the beta test is successful, then we can launch a complete model.
Okay.
Are you satisfied, Richa, with the answer?
Yes, I will. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So in the interest of time, let's proceed forward. So now Team Loopspire, you can start with your presentation. But before you begin your presentation, can we have the reasoning behind the naming of your team, please?
Yeah, our team name Loopspire reflect our belief in improving the system through continuous feedback and growth.
Okay, good. Can we have a 1-minute summary of your entire presentation?
Yes.
Sure.
So this presentation outlines how a well-defined MVP not only reduces wasted effort, but also accelerates learning and help us to have improved execution and build something which truly matters to the users.
Okay. Now you can start with the presentation, keeping in mind the time limit of 3 minutes. You may start now.
Yeah, so why MVP matters? Building without user feedback is like flying blind. Users need change, and if we don't adapt, we might lose them. Competitors who listen and iterate may take the lead. Moving to the next slide. At the MVP stage, focus is key. One problem, one persona, one successful metric. This helps us to keep the team aligned and prevents overbuilding. Over to Afreen.
Thank you, Nandita. Now, as we have done with the introduction and the mechanism of how we are going to do it, let's dive into how we are going to increase the efficiency. We use fast feedback loops to understand real needs and automate wherever it is possible. And we try to avoid building features that no one wants or the customer doesn't want. Next slide, please. Now, execution, we are moving forward to follow some methodologies. We start with an MVP and to solve one core user problem at a time. Hence, we use structured feedback to learn and adapt with that one problem. And then we will be relying on agile tools to manage our processes more efficiently. Next. Then the question is that is this worth solving this problem? And it is absolutely yes. By focusing on one problem at a time, learning through user behavior, and constantly iterating, we are building a system that improves with time and concentrate on all types of user, not just the target audience which the product thought initially. Over to you, Richa.
So why we go for the MVP? To expand the target audience and enhance the features and to optimize the reflection infrastructure. Next slide. And we are creating the value by this to identify the pain points, feedback users, and go for the sustainable growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Loopspire. Now the other team can start asking their questions.
I have a question.
Okay, Aditya, you can continue.
So, as your team suggested that we only build whatever is needed, so maybe there are some features that the customer doesn't know that they need. So, how would that feature reach the customers?
The customer don't know what features they are needed.
I mean, some feature might be useful for them, but you are only releasing what they need. They might not know that this feature is like helpful for them. So would you not
Yeah.
release it?
No, we are going for implementation for the small scales. First, we go for the testing, and after that, taking the feedback and analyzing all those approaches. Then we go for the large scale implementation. But taking the feedback and implementation would be, I would say, different. Matlab, taking the feedback would be a 70 to 80%, and after giving an other additional features would be a different thing. But this approach is not only work for the feedback. The feedback mechanism would be there, but it would be work for the 80%, I would say.
Adding on to this, so we listen closely to the user frustration, behavior patterns, and why behind their actions, right? We don't just build what they ask for, we build what they really need, even if they haven't articulated it yet. So discovery is the key, and we introduce it in a subtle and user-friendly way through onboarding, I guess.
So your slide suggested that fast delivery is essential. So all these things such as testing, feedbacks, etc., take time. So how would you deliver fast in spite of all these things?
Yeah, so I would like
Yeah.
to answer that. So what happens in MVP is that we create what we can say is a basic initial model, like a prototype, we can say. It is not full-fledged completed, but we first create a prototype of thing and then we make the customers to use it and then give feedback. So there is a two different aspects to it. If we are creating the full-fledged product and then asking for feedback, it will be more time consuming to change it. And if we are partly building it and then providing it to the users, they can just give feedback and we can build it with modifying it. So it will be time consuming. That's what the word time consuming or making it fast means, basically.
Okay. Thank you, Afrin. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any other follow-up question? Any questions
have-
for team? Sure, Harshita.
Yeah. So I have a question, like, how do you balance like users' feedback, like which are based on the conflicting views? So how do you navigate them? Like, uh, once we receive the conflicting feedback from different users group, how did we are able, like, how did you guys going to navigate?
We first check the feedback, which is feedback is aligned to our product. Sometimes feedback is very random, so that would be like a conflicting. And if feedback is not random or something, that would be something. Maybe some in our product there would be something. That's why there is a conflicting view. So for that we go for that some data analysis and something like that. And in a confliction, maybe mostly what happened, it would be like some random views also would be there. So we have to filter that. So we
Okay,
go for the
Richa.
filtration for this.
Okay, Richa, over to Harshita.
What metrics did you guys track to understand the impact of those feedbacks on MVP?
If it solves, the core problem for a diverse kind of users, then we prioritize those kind of feedbacks.
Okay, Nandita, any other follow-up questions?
Like, how you guys are thinking to actively collect and prioritize those user feedbacks for the MVP?
Yeah, how we prioritize the feedback. Okay, first we just test the product and we just check कि which product मतलब which feedback is mostly aligned with our product मतलब test कि मतलब sometime what happen कि your product is something and demand is something मतलब very different and sometime is would be like 80 to 30% different and first we go for that कि okay what is aligned कि go for the betterment of the product and after
Okay,
that we go
Richa,
for the
this point has
additional.
already been discussed. Have you got any other points?
Yeah, so I would like to add to this is the frequency of users. Let's say majority of users are facing a single kind of problem, so we're definitely gonna put that into priority so that their problem is being solved. And talking about the conflicts, so conflicts only arise at that point in time when two users want to modify one single feature. So we can address it by coming into a balance between the two. If the one is asking for a simpler one and other is asking for a complex one, then we will come to a medium version where both are satisfied.
Okay, does this answer your question, Harshita?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, in the interest of time, let's proceed forward. Thank you so much for participating in the SD. But before we end this week's Socratic Dialogue, let's have 3 reflections based on the discussion we had today. So who would like to go first for their ideas, reflections? Yes, Aditya, you may start.
So from today's SD, I learned how feedback loops and their management is not a very easy task. Like it takes a lot from the users and the developers to maintain all these things, and fast delivery is a key thing in this process. So while maintaining all this, how to deliver fast. So MVP can help a lot in this approach, and also how to counter the user's complex and simple demands also. I learned that.
Thank you, Aditya. Over to Richa.
I learned about the basic the how important is testing and to take the feedback and work over our in testing product. It is a very essential to meet the demand of the customer. So that this is a big and basic learning of mine from this
Exactly, Richa.
topic.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Richa. Over to Afreen.
Yeah, so as I haven't worked with many software development or more technical aspects of any in this corporate world, so I would say that MVP was a new term for me, and this SD let me explore what this truly is and how things really work in the world of development. So,
That's great. Thank you, Afreen. Over to Ananya.
So, as Afreen said, it was also a new experience for me as I never looked like into corporate jargons, and MVP was very new for me, and I learned how important it is not to just present an idea but to clearly articulate the problem, the solutions, and how like product fits into the market. And the process helped me to think critically about how to refine the MVP to ensure it's focused on, solve a real user's problem. And I realized the importance of anticipating feedbacks and preparing counter arguments to defend the vision of the product. Now, overall, it was a moment of growth, and I feel more confident. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you had a wonderful Socratic dialogue and everyone enjoyed it. So thank you so much for participating, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
thank you.
You for conducting the session.
So are we still live? I think they are in a meeting, so that is why it is still live. All right, so any other questions on today's sessions? Like any other question to any team, any process, or any idea? The real thing was, which I took away, is that building an MVP and at the same time making sure that